Hi, welcome along to AFTV. Bit of breaking news for you. Mikel Arteta has tested positive for COVID and will miss the Manchester City game. Announced today on Arsenal's website. It is official. I can read you the quote. It says, Mikel is isolating in line with the government guidelines and we wish him well. And that confirms that he will miss the game. We already know that taking over for that game are going to be the assistants, Albert Stuyvenberg and also Steve Round. They're going to be in charge of the game. But a big blow to Arsenal, big blow to Mikel Arteta, especially, number one, the team's been playing so well and we've had a lot of momentum going. Also up against Manchester City, he goes up against Pep Guardiola, his previous boss where he was, number two. He would have been looking forward to this game, but he will miss the game. Now, obviously, we're hoping that, he's fine. We know that this Omicron variant has been absolutely flying around London. It's taken out half of everybody here at AFTV. Thankfully, we've all recovered now, and hopefully it's going to be a speedy recovery for Mikel Arteta. But you do worry as well. Could it be the first of many? And I'm hoping that not. But we already know that, in the last game, Callum Chambers missed the game because of COVID. Tomiyasu, that was rumoured to be COVID. Cedric, and even Ainsley Maitland-Niles, that was rumoured to be COVID as well. So that was already 4 players. If the manager's got it, has he maybe come into contact? I'm sure he has done, Probably travelled on the same coach and has been around those players. Has he spread that onto any of them? I'm sure all the other players would have done, their COVID tests and, at these football clubs right now, they are following these things very, very strict. So hopefully there's no more cases and hopefully the game's still on. And, if the game is still on, we don't want some of our key players going down with COVID just as we're about to play Manchester City, which is the hardest game, in my opinion, in the Premier League. A team that, they always beat us away, but they always seem to come and beat us at home as well. And as I said, it was a game which I was really looking forward to because there's been a bit of momentum, but does cast a bit of doubt over the game, although at this moment in time, there's nothing to suggest that the game's going to be cancelled. And Mikel Arteta, second time he's got COVID. If you guys remember rightly, this is really weird and really strange. If you remember rightly, he was like one of the first really high-profile people to get COVID the first time around. And remember who we were playing? Manchester City. I remember I was up there. My brother lives in Manchester and I stayed by him and woke up in the morning to find out that, Mikel Arteta had COVID and that the game had been cancelled. And then if you remember rightly, after that weekend, because that game was during the week, that weekend, all of the games got cancelled. And then we started to go into all the madness of lockdowns and games behind closed doors and stuff like that. So, Mikel Arteta was one of the first people to get it and he beat it that time. And we know at those times it was a lot more severe, by looking at how it's sort of been going around this time around than it was, now. So we're hoping and praying that Mikel Arteta, will be fine and will be back, recovered very, very soon. Of course, now it means we're going to have to isolate for 7 days. I don't know when it's going to start from, but under the new guidelines over here in the UK, you've got to isolate. Once you've got it, you've got to isolate for 7 days. Then you've got to do a lateral flow test. I'm sure a high-profile manager like Mikel Arteta will be a lateral flow and a PCR, just to make sure that, he's COVID-free. And then after that, he'll be able to, hopefully be back in charge for the game against Liverpool next week in the League Cup. Remember, we've got the first leg of that, or for the FA Cup game at the weekend. But as it stands, he definitely will not be in charge of the game against Manchester City on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, should I say. He's definitely not going to be in charge of that game. So once again, assistants Albert Stuyvenberg and Steve Round, they are going to be in charge of the game against Manchester City at the Emirates. No Mikel Arteta for that game. And as I said, let's just hope that, that doesn't affect any of the players. I mean, listen, we've seen other managers get COVID recently. Steven Gerrard got COVID, but still the Villa game went on. Patrick Vieira, ex-Arsenal player, of course, he also had COVID, but the Crystal Palace game did go ahead, and they won that game as well. So let's hope that, it's not been passed on to any of the players or any of the key players in particular, and that they're all in really good health, and that we can get the game against Manchester City on. But that is the breaking news. Mikel Arteta has tested positive for COVID-19, will not be in the dugout for the game against Manchester City. Wishing him a very, very speedy recovery. Let's hope that he can, beat this like he did it the last time and be back in the dugout, hopefully, for that game against Liverpool. And as I said, hopefully it doesn't affect any of the other players, and the other players that currently have it, like Tomiyasu, Cedric, Callum Chambers, that these guys can make a speedy recovery and get back into the team. Let us know your thoughts. What are you thinking about this whole situation? Leave it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Thanks for watching, and Mikel Arteta wishing you a speedy recovery.